All right, so I got encouraged to make this video from this book that I'm reading. It's a pretty good book. But basically what I want to go over real quick is like not a lot of people what the Bible goes over on, like what I'm going to talk about, not a lot of people know. And I think it's really interesting because it talks about how the culture of people, like who people are. And it goes the same way, like in the Bible, it talks, like there's stories of kings and God uses men of dishonor a way that they are dishonorable, and he uses women the same way as they are dishonorable. And he uses women as concubines. And people don't know, if you don't know what that is, a concubine is like a woman that is it's a woman that is seen so low that she can't be married, and she's only seen as someone to sleep with or someone to have children with. And it basically is saying like a king will have concubines and a wife, and it just depends, in what sense. But a concubine is kind of just like a side piece for someone. It's someone that you just go and sleep around with. It's someone that has no value of themselves other than what they offer in their body, other than sex. And I think it's so cool how the Bible talks about like this. And this isn't like, I wasn't taught this in church. Like, I wasn't taught this growing up in church. Even by reading this book, I wasn't taught this in the church that, I go to now. But just reading this and doing the research on it, it's crazy because like you battling lust every day. You hold values and morals to yourself. But what I thought is crazy is like the Bible speaks on concubines and like stories. There's actually stories of it playing out, like of what happens if you give into, like sleeping around a lot and, being with the wrong people. And, like, it's so crazy because, I have a story, honestly, like I've seen this before, like I see it all the time with people, like they're not living together, being married, they're sleeping around, like they're dating, sleeping around, doing all this stuff like that. That's today's culture. Like that's how everything is. But I have seen a story, or I have a story to tell. Like I've seen one of my friends, like this actually happened to one of my friends where he had moved here and he had got with this girl, and this girl was all about that. And like where they are today, like it completely blows my mind because like you wouldn't expect something like such to happen. But first, what I want to go over is, battling with lust. The enemy has women of dishonor that he uses as weak vessels in your everyday life, and those women are controlled by the spirit of Jezebel, or the spirit of a concubine, a woman that just wants to sleep around, go party, has no morals, doesn't want to get married, and doesn't want to honor God or a man of God. And I think that's so crazy because like these women are everywhere. And the Bible is so crazy in a sense. In the Bible, what it talks about is like, it's so, like the image can't be described, how you can think of it. But when you actually do research on it, it's crazy because these women they live in dishonor. Like they don't care about children or a household or a family or anything. They don't care. They don't have no respect for a family, a godly man, for the morals of how a family will grow up. It's a vessel of the enemy. But going into it, like there's a story in the Bible, and it's a story of Samson. And Samson is this man who God gave the power and the God-given gift to deliver Israel, I think. Yeah, deliver Israel from its enemies. And instead of him saving those people, he went to go be with them, and he saw one of the enemies as a beautiful woman. He had seen a beautiful woman on the other side of the enemy's lines, and rather than controlling himself, he had made her his mistress, made him his woman, I guess you could say. And all basically when reading it, the woman didn't serve him. This woman was there just as his needs, to have sex with him, or to do so whatever he pleased, and to do everything. Like in the Proverbs that I had said, or no, there's a Proverbs where saying an immoral woman, their mouth is like honey, and it's everything that it's smoother than oil. It's everything that you want to hear. And that's pretty much what that woman was serving to Samson. Well, pretty much what ended up happening is Samson, the enemies were trying to kill Samson, and one of the enemies had told his mistress, hey, if you can lead Samson to us, then we'll give you everything you want and everything you need. And so she was down for it. So pretty much they had went to sleep together, and she had cut his hair, and his hair was like one of the main powers behind his body that God had given him. And when she did that, the enemies came in and they tied Samson up and they tortured him and they almost killed him. And by the grace of God, Samson had spoke out to God, and he told God like his mistake. He realized his mistakes on giving it to this woman, and God had set him free and delivered him. But through his mistakes, Samson killed himself by delivering those people that he was supposed to deliver, instead of rather living a life that he could have set himself free from. So that woman that he gave into, that concubine, that woman that didn't want marriage, nothing to do with his destiny, that just wanted to sleep around, that woman had hindered his whole destiny, and it led him to death. But it still led him to be used as God's purpose for what he had in his life. So that story itself is pretty interesting. But I have another story. So this is a personal story. So about 2.5 years ago, I made a friend. And my friend wasn't from here. He had moved from out of state to where I live at. And I had met him through school. Well, this man met this girl through someone that he had knew. And this girl had no good intention of, for a future ahead. Had no good intention. Like, she was a party girl. She did it, did as she pleased, I guess you could say. And I'm not one to speak, especially back then. I wasn't living for God. I wasn't one to speak, hey bro, I don't think this girl's good for you. Do whatever you want. I had no authority to say that. And I respected my friend, I respect all my friends. But I had noticed a lot of things that she had did. It was something so crazy. It was something that wouldn't just go over my head. It would just be dang, I would never want a girl like that. And everyone is saying, oh, well, you should respect a girl, of how she wants and how she pleases and such and such. But nah, with me, that from my heart, that didn't settle with me. The stuff that she did, some of the stuff she did, it did not settle with me. And even with some people that I know, it didn't settle with me. Unless if you're a straight up simp, nah, you won't want a girl like that. But what's crazy is so my friend that I had made, his best friend had moved from the same state that they were in to here to live with him. And, what ended up happening is that girl, so these two friends were best friends for years. And that girl, what ended up happening is, to make a long story short, that girl ended up sleeping with his best friend and deceived his best friend to make this whole story mixed up. He basically ruined their friendships, and his best friend got his girlfriend pregnant. So that's crazy. And now my friend moved, and those people, I have no idea where these people are, but I know where they are, but I haven't kept up to date with them. But that happened. That is so crazy. The intentions of a woman that is a concubine, it has no moral goal or no moral ethic of serving God or respecting a godly man. That's what it can lead to. The same thing that happened to Samson is the same thing that happened to my friend. And my friend wasn't Christian. My friend didn't live for God. And what's crazy to me is, in all this, he thought that he was in control of it. He thought that he was doing good. And what's crazy is all that happened. For a girl Like she literally got pregnant by his friend, and like I don't know what's gonna happen for the future, but like that's what a result can lead to with being chased by a woman or chasing a girl or doing all kinds of crazy things. Like I bet you that his friend doesn't even like that girl, and they just one night lets another, and now they have a kid together, and like it. The result is life changing. Like whenever you decide to play with stuff like that. But another thing, my last point is in the Bible it talks about the book, or it talks about Jacob and his sons, and Jacob had a concubine and he had a wife, but the concubines were used to have children with, like to repopulate, I guess you could say, and what I guess in I think Jacob had three sons. His first son had grown up and actually had sex with, his name was Reuben. Reuben had sex with Jacob's concubine, and all because of that, all because of his flesh, Jacob was blessing all three of his sons, and he told his first son, since you were my first in excellence, and since you have disobeyed me, you have disobeyed God, you are now unstable as water, and you will not excel in anything. Like he cursed his own life by chasing the desires of flesh, by chasing the sexual encounter or whatever you want to say it is, and all because you can't control yourself, or you think that you want the desire, you want the pleasure of it. Like that's what's crazy to me. Like what blows my mind is like people. Like you want to get with a girl and get in a relationship. Like relationships are good, but to find the purpose of a relationship and like to see, like I see a lot of women that are just like driven by the world, I guess you could say, and it's crazy because they won't care for anything, any moral ethic upon for a family. Like they will do whatever. And that, like the story that I know, that goes to show, like this girl had no morals and had sex with his boyfriend, or her boyfriend that she had been dating for over a year. She had sex with his best friend, and that man got her pregnant, and now they are together. Like why would you want that? Like, and why, like you think that that's just like, oh, that just happens? Nah, bro. Like that all women that are subdued by the enemy, that's how they live. And that's how the enemy works. Like that's how the devil works. So I'll make this video like battling with lust. Like before you think about going out and partying and all that plays a role. Like not living for God plays a role. But what's crazy to me is like I never knew how that was really bad. And then once the Bible started introducing me to concubines and like how women, their whole purpose is to live like that. Their whole purpose is to their whole purpose in life is to have sex with as many men as they can, and to have children whose lives are deferred, are destroyed, and not good putting up together. Like that's crazy. But hey, yeah, making this video over battling over lust, like that just goes to show, before you take any step in a relationship or even just sleeping with a woman, like just know you're not going to be in control of it unless if it's a godly relationship. And just know from what my experience, this man had been dating this girl for almost 2 years, and she went under his belt and did that even with his best friend. Like guys will say, oh, that's messed up on the guy's part, but yeah, like think about it, bro. Like that's your girl. Like that's messed up on a guy to guy relationship. Like that's a friendship, you know what I mean? That's messed up on that part, but bro, like that's your girl, bro. Like just think about that. Think about in the future in the relationship, just past tense. Like just think about it. But yeah, that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching.